I have beautiful Sharon with me, yay, and Casey. So today we are going to be doing a lovely shoulder and heart opening practice. And for me, when I started yoga, the first 5 years of practice, I'd say, I was pretty terrified of back bends. Now today is not all about back bends necessarily, but it's a lot about shoulder and heart opening. And so for the first 5 years, I think I found them uncomfortable, yes, because of anatomical limitations, which I'll talk about in a minute, but also because I didn't understand that those anatomical limitations are universal. One thing I'll say before I continue is if you don't have a strap or the tie of your robe or something handy, I'd love you to get that. So something that's long, able to be stretched and used for a bit of flossing, that would be ace. So yes, when it comes to anatomical limitations, it's a primitive thing that our flexors, our torso, our front body is related to our vulnerability and our fight or flight response. So in terms of if you have a tiger running toward you, you're not exactly going to expose yourself and your whole torso, your vital organs and your hip flexors. Instead, the hip flexors can and your body or your mind is told to run. So to open up these muscles directly can send fight or flight responses to the brain. So the poses we're going to work today are mainly to open up and loosen those muscles, but also so we get a little more comfortable and breathe a little better in those open front body postures. Okay, so that's all the talking I have to do, so let's begin. So I want you in your own time to come onto your back, and you might bring the soles of your feet together into Supta Baddha Konasana. Let's begin. So as you come onto your back, if possible, I want your arms to be out nice and wide, like Sharon's are here. Just as wide as is comfortable, just to start that process of opening up across the chest. I want you to take a big inhale through your nose, release through your mouth, and again, inhale, release, and once more, release. And now I want you to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. And just allowing that breath to reach a little bit deeper down into the lower lungs, the lower belly. It's really important to start a practice from a place of spaciousness and breath. It's particularly important when we're dealing with postures that challenge the breathing, that challenge the muscles in the front of the body. So I'm going to give you a counting breath today. I'm going to work on breath retention. So we're going to add a little pause between. So it's simple, square breath, in for 4, pause for 4, out for 4, and pause for 4 again. So exhaling the air through your nose, and breathing in, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, in, pause, out, pause, breathe in. And just allow that breath to become a little more reflexive, a little more comfortable, a little more natural. So in your own time, you can bring those knees in towards each other and hug your knees in towards your body. And if it feels good to massage your back into the floor or make any movements, you can. Lovely. I want you in your own time to keep hugging those knees, maybe hands behind your thighs, and you're going to rock yourselves up. Rock yourselves up to hands and knees. Let's go all the way over. So in your tabletop, your wrists under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. I just want you to work through a little bit of cat-cow at your own rhythm. That's it. So rippling from the pelvis all the way through the spine. The inhale to drop the belly, look forward. And the exhale to push away from the floor and round. And if you feel as though you'd like to keep going in that direction, feel free. If you want to start rolling the spine in any which way, you can. Beautiful, Sharon. Just waking up through the spine. Just really noticing what needs waking up today. What do you notice? Very nice. And when you're ready, take your time, come back to a neutral spine. And we're just going to do a little bit to open up through the front body and the core muscles. So take your time to lengthen your right leg back behind you. And we're just going to start with the right leg. So I want you to inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to your nose, round through the spine. Gorgeous. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to curl. Inhale, length. And exhale, tuck. Now your option is to just keep with the leg, or left arm lengthens out. Take a big breath in. Exhale, you tuck. Very good. Inhale to lengthen. You can see that you can't see that elbow because Sharon is tucking it all the way to her elbow, her hip. Keep going. Good, Sharon. Sorry to make you pause. So when she tucks in, she's tucking that elbow all the way to her hip. So she's going all the way in rather than just going knee to elbow. Now lengthen out and either just hold that extension, reach forward and back and engage the core, or bend the knee, sweep the hand back, and you can just stick with that or find the foot. So if you're finding that foot, this is our first dancer expression today. So you might kick that foot a little higher, breathe into your back. For 3, for 2, how's your breath? Sharon's is good. And extend forward and back. And hands and knees to the floor. And in between, it might be nice to just wiggle out the bottom or make any movement because you've just woken up a lot of muscles. So just give anything a release that needs to. We'll start with just the left leg, lengthening the left leg back. Take an inhale, exhale, tuck. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tuck. Inhale for length. And exhale, curl, really tucking in knee to nose. Beautiful. Inhale, lengthen back. Now right arm might lengthen forward. In breath. Your exhale, you curl. That's it. Now you can really see she's tucking that elbow in. Lengthen out. Good work. She's very good. She's waiting for my cues. Exhale, tuck. Go with your breath. Sorry, Sharon. Inhale, lengthen back. And exhale, tuck. Gorgeous, that big tight squeeze. Inhale, lengthen out. Sweeping that hand back and either just bending the knee, or if you can find the foot, that's your option. Kick that foot back. So you can see that it's about that expression of the more today that you can kick the foot back into the hand, the better. That's what we're aiming for today, rather than pulling your heel to your bum. Lengthen back and forward when you're ready. And hand and knee to the floor. And you can feel free to loosen off the spine in any way. Our destination, when you are ready, will be a brief child's pose. So it's up to you if the knees stay wide or if you bring the knees together. Both are beautiful child's pose variations. And just breathe into your back. Taking 2 more deep breaths here. Wonderful. Whenever you are ready, our destination will be our downward facing dog. So take all the time you need. And once you come back to that down dog, if stillness calls you, stick with stillness. If a little bit of pedaling out of the feet calls you, or working into any movement of any kind, yeah, lovely. So Sharon's adding just a little bit of pivoting from side to side. And really, that's, I think down dog is one of the perfect places to start to explore just what does my body need today? How are my shoulders feeling? So we're going to come into a little bit of rolling dog. So rippling forward through a plank on your inhale. Exhale, bend the knees, bottom to heels, and rolling back. Perfect. So on your inhale, you ripple forward. And on the exhale, bend and roll back. And just make it your own now with your breath. And then from this next down dog, same thing, other direction. The knees bend first. Beautiful, Sharon. You ripple back. And she's engaging a lot of core here. And you can see if you can get really light on the tips of your toes, that is perfect. That means you're engaging more abdominal, more arm. Very good. When you're ready, downward facing dog. Walk your hands to the back of your mat, towards your feet. And taking a half lift here, inhale, fingertips to shins, and exhale, you fold. So fold, yes, you might, either hold onto elbows, or as Sharon also did, you can let the arms hang loose, whatever feels best. And you can engage movement and sway, or you can stay still. Just keep your neck soft. So today's practice, forward folding, as emphasized, but it is still really important to observe how are my hamstrings feeling, how is my back feeling. One more full deep breath. Stay for the exhale. And on your inhale, slowly rolling up, pressing the feet into the floor. You can see beautiful bent legs. That's fabulous. Arms open up and wide. And exhale, you fold back down to the floor. Walking your hands forward, plank position. We're just taking a moment here in our plank, doming up through the shoulder blades. Beautiful. Pushing the floor away. Just feeling everything start to engage through the core, the back line. How's your breath? Beautiful. Shift the shoulders past the fingertips, knees to the floor, and slowly lower your belly all the way down to the earth. Lovely. Low cobra. Shoulders roll back. Inhale, you lift. And exhale, you lower. When you're ready, inhale, lift. Lengthen the spine. We're going to stay a little bit longer this time. So now your hands might hover off the floor. Going to engage the strength in the back. You might fly the hands by your sides. Float the feet. Locust pose. Now you can keep your hands flying by your side or clasp the hands behind your back if you want to open up more through the shoulders. That's an option. For 3, for 2, and release. So let your hands drop, let your head drop, and if it feels good to wiggle the booty from side to side or make any movement. We are going to add another variation here, which is your rolling cobra or your striking cobra. So bringing your hands off the edge of your mat, maybe up onto your fingertips, or if it feels better on your arms, that's fine. And slowly rolling shoulders back and lifting up through the ribs. Very good. And when you're ready, looking over the right shoulder, it's up to, this is different ways we teach it, Sharon. This is how we differ. On your exhale, you're drawing a semicircle across the floor. That's it. And you can really do it how you wish, Sharon, but I'm adding a bit of a twist. So as you're working here, lowering, lifting, and looking over that shoulder, perfect. Gorgeous. So we're just waking up the sides of the back today as well, because that's very important for where we're headed. Really working that inhale breath as you lift and that exhale breath as you drop. Very good. And then when you're ready, back through center. Or go to the left once more, Sharon. Got to even you out. And then back through center, hands by the chest, child's pose once more. So we're just doing a little bit more mobility. Now, if you prefer to stick with child's pose, I would love you to just stay as you are. Otherwise, we are going to work into heart melting pose. So you're going to shift your bottom over your knees and walk the hands forward. So your bottom is working more up to the ceiling. And so you can work, if it feels comfortable, your chin to the floor. If that's a little too intense, just stick with your forehead. Sharon's quite comfortable here with her chin to the earth, opening up through the armpits, the chest. How's your breath? So we're doing a lot of work here, mobilizing through chest, through spine. Before we start to get fluid, we have just a little more work to do in our tummy. So you'll need your strap. I want you to slide onto your tummy, and I want you to grab that strap. So you're going to now take that strap in between your hands. You want to hold it nice and taut and lengthen it out in front of you. You want to do Superman. Exactly. Now she's got that nice and taut. See how you go, Sharon? The hands might end up being a little wider. So you've got your hands holding that strap nice and taut above your head like Superman. On your inhale, locust you lift, hands sweep behind your back, and maybe that strap works toward your buttocks. Exhale, lower, and bring those hands down. Exactly. Good work. Inhale, you lift, chest lifts, hands back, floss behind the back. And exhale, you lower. Yes, perfect. Couple more. Inhale, you lift, floss the hands behind the back, hello shoulders. And exhale down. Wonderful. One more in your own time. Inhale, lift. Now just hold a little longer here. So you keep your neck long because it's very, very common that you're going to pick up a little bit of tension in the neck here. So keep the neck relaxed for 3, 2, and floss your way back on your exhale and let that strap go. Beautiful. So that's certainly a bit of back work to start the practice. And from here on in, we're going to get a little more fluid and work with our flow. So one more brief child's pose, if your knees were wide apart before, maybe knees are together this time, or vice versa. Just noticing after that back extension work. So today is really a practice that counters the modern lifestyle. You might have seen that cartoon, that evolution parody where we work from caveman through to modern man, but then we've devolved back over computer screens. Today's practice is really about opening up and working and strengthening all those muscles that get lazy when we sit. So when you're ready, down dog is your destination, and we'll start to get a little more fluid from here. So from your down dog, I want you to walk your hands to the back of your yoga mat. Take a half lift, lengthen in breath. Exhale, you fold. Rolling up, arms reach up and wide. Perhaps opening sternum more to ceiling. Gorgeous, Sharon. And exhale, you fold. Walking your hands forward, plank position. From here on in, your flow. Knees on or off the floor, chaturanga. Bend of choice, up dog or cobra. Down dog, exhale. From your downward facing dog, shift the gaze to the top of the mat, Utkatasana, chair pose. Lovely. So the arms reach up. Now you have one of two choices here. Instead of having the arms by the ears today, either box the elbows in a cactus shape, gorgeous, or if you prefer, you can hold the palms out in front of you with the arms out exactly, just as Sharon's doing there. So it doesn't really matter how deep you're seated. That's not the emphasis. What I'm interested in here are, yes, your legs, your core awakening, deep breaths. I want you from here to bring your hands behind your head, forward fold. So let the knees stay soft. And as you forward fold with your hands behind your head, just a brief little bit more of forward folding, and just noticing as you place a little pressure on the back of the head, does that stretch feel useful in the back of your neck or in your upper back? And you can notice there that Sharon's got that lovely, soft, tiny bend through her knees, and that's more ideal for your back and hips and spine. Keeping the hands behind your head, press the feet into the floor, ripple up through standing, and as you come up, you might wing open the elbows, maybe take it into a light back bend. Beautiful. And exhale, you fold once more in your own time. Half lift, inhale. Step or flow back. You can vinyasa from here, or you can skip it and meet in down dog. Your choice. Very good. From your downward facing dog, inhale your right hips. Bend your knee, peel open your hip, three-legged dog. So our goal is to really start opening through these hip flexors and through the front body today. So instead of focusing on really square through the shoulders, I'm actually okay if you let your left shoulder dip. If you want to look under your right armpit, you can even place your left forearm down onto the floor. If you want something extra interesting, the right hand walks to the right corner of the mat. Come onto your fingertips. Yeah, just like Sharon's working there. And remember that these are optional layers. You don't have to add anything in. You can keep with a simple three-legged dog. 2 more breaths. When you're ready, back to your palms, square off your hips, point that right leg, inhale, knee to nose, exhale. Kick back, in breath. Arch your right arm, exhale. Inhale, kick back. Knee to the opposite arm, we will fall in triangle, thread the foot through, left arm reaches high. Today, spin your heart open for 3, 2, left hand to the floor, kick the right leg up and back, in breath. And kneeling lunge is where we are headed, placing that right foot, the back knee down, gorgeous, the arms reaching up. And just let the shoulders drop away from the ears, the fingers nice and active. So with our extension today, I want you from here to bring your palms to touch and bend your elbows and your thumbs touch exactly the nape of your neck. And your goal here today is I want you to get those arms behind, or upper arms behind your ears, so out of your periphery. So if you're looking at the camera, you can still see, I can still see Sharon's face very clearly. So as you're working here, push your foot down into the floor. Optional addition, you bend your left knee, ballet point your left foot, and pull your heel in toward your bum. Exactly, Sharon. Good. So you're working, if you can, more back bend while pulling that heel to the bum and strengthening your left hamstrings for 3, for 2. Very good. Release. Hands down to the floor. Frame that front foot. Left hand down. Right arm reaches up. Kneeling lunge twist. Very good. So you're going to keep that right knee bent, and we're going to do some big circles through the shoulder. So sweeping the arm down, around, and back. Perfect, Sharon. So maybe the inhale is what sweeps you back, and the exhale is what sweeps that hand down to the floor. And it doesn't matter what pace, if you're going slowly, quickly, you're just exploring as much space in that right shoulder as possible. And you can either keep with those circles or come back to the twist, or after this next circle, Sharon, you bend your left knee, take hold of your foot, and working into, yes, that monkey variation. And you can stay on your left palm, you can come to your forearm. Doesn't matter. As for your right knee, it does not matter if that right knee squeezes in toward you or whether you've rolled onto outside blade of your right foot and you're winging out that knee. It's irrelevant. How's your breath? Just a couple more breaths. Well done. Beautiful with your neck, Sharon. That's lovely. So whenever you're ready, you can bring that right hand down to the floor. I just want to give a little love to your hamstring. Maybe a quick half Hanuman. It's up to you if you're keeping that right foot at the corner of the mat or doing as Sharon did and adjusting so your right hand is outside the leg. Just giving your hammies a little love and a brief forward fold. We haven't done much hamstrings today, so noticing how are your hammies feeling this morning? Good morning. From here, you're going to bring both hands inside that right leg, sweep the right leg to the back of the mat, kneeling side plank. Perfect, Sharon. So as that right arm reaches overhead, let's keep that right foot down on the floor just a little longer. We will get to that, Sharon. So I want you from here to reach over and start your circle. Going to sweep around. That's it. Beautiful. And you're creating these big circles through the shoulder, through the hip. So every time you sweep back, you're bending into that knee. Very good. And as I've never done this way before, Sharon, go the other way. No, it's great. I realize that I don't teach the other direction and it works really well. See, this is why it's so good we get to practice with each other, because I get to learn from Sharon too. Right, beautiful. When you're ready, we are going to set up for that maybe right foot floating off the floor. That left hand is sturdily supporting you under your shoulder. And you can stick with that shape again, or just leave it, or bend the knee, take hold of the foot, and working into your Chapasana. Now, the goal today with Chapasana is kick that foot back into the hand. So create more back bend. And yes, if it's comfortable to look up to the ceiling, you can add that in. For 3, for 2, Beautiful. Sweep your hand back down to the floor. Tuck your left toes under, three-legged dogs. You can see Sharon pivoted that left foot. Vinyasa from here. It might be a single-legged vinyasa. You might be dropping your knees. You might be going traditional with both feet on the floor. And once you come back to your down dog, big inhale. Long exhale. Shift the gaze to the front of the mat and step or hop to the top, Utkatasana. Very good. This is just going to be a short chair, your arms positioned however feels good for you. Yeah, lovely, Sharon. Beautiful. You have a choice from here, taking a bit of a forward fold or Bakasana if you're wanting to add a little arm balance into your practice today. So I'm going to lead the Bakasana because you know how to forward fold. If you're working that crow, beautiful. Shift the gaze forward, Sharon. That's it. Her bum moves high. She pulls her heels in towards her buttocks, and you notice her feet are very active. Notice your breath for 3, 2, option to spring back or step back. Very good. Downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, inhale, your left leg lifts, bend your knee, peel open the hip. Gorgeous. And as you work that heel toward the buttock, it's up to you. You don't have to keep the shoulders square. You might dip your right shoulder. You might look under your left armpit. You might even let your right forearm soften to the floor, and you can even move that left hand to the left corner of the room, even on the fingertips. These are all optional layers and not essentials. It's layer by layer by layer. One more full deep breath. When you are ready, back to the palms, square off the hip, point the foot, take an inhale, knee to your nose, exhale. Kick back in breath, to your left arm, exhale. Inhale, kick back. Knee to the opposite arm, fallen triangle. Thread the foot through, right arm reaches up for 3. Open the heart for 2. And hand to the floor, kick that left leg up and back. Anjaneyasana, kneeling lunge. Place the foot, back knee down, arms reaching up. From this extension, your palms come to touch, thumbs to the nape of your neck. Very good. And you're pushing that left foot into the floor. You're pulling up through that right hip, so getting into that right hip flexor to open it up. And maybe moving those arms a little bit more in line with your ears to work open through the armpits. Optional layer, you bend your right knee, pull your heel in toward your buttocks. Yes, so you're working, strengthening those right hamstrings. So often, yogis, we're really good at stretching our hamstrings and not very good at strengthening them. Beautiful, Sharon. Release the hands to the floor, release the foot to the floor. Low lunge twist, left arm reaches up to the ceiling. And we're creating those circular movements, so sweeping that hand around and back and just really mobilizing. And every time you open up, it's a twist motion. And we're only going one direction today with this shoulder. We only need one direction to open up. Perfect. When you're ready, next time you sweep back, bend the knee, take hold of the foot, working into your lovely monkey grip. So if you're not adding in that variation, that is absolutely fine. You might be taking that forearm to the floor. Thank you, Sharon. That's perfect. And yes, whatever feels good with your neck. So you might be dropping your head a little bit, or you might be shifting gaze to the ceiling. What's the difference if you now kick that foot away from your buttock rather than pulling the heel to your buttock? Just exploring the difference in the variations. For 3, for 2, release, half split, both hands come to the floor and straightening out through that left leg. Whether you are moving that leg more to the middle of the mat or whether you're keeping it in the corner is irrelevant. How are your hamstrings? Deep breaths. For 3, for 2. Wonderful. Walking the hands forward, kneeling side plank, hands plant inside your left leg sweeps to the mat, and the left arm reaches up. You start your circles in one direction. Beautiful. So sweeping around. Beautiful. And every time you can see that when she bends into that knee, she can mobilize that hip. So you're mobilizing shoulders, mobilizing hip. Very good. Change direction. Other way. And then when you're ready, back into that kneeling side plank. Floating that left foot is optional. You might choose to bend that knee, take hold of the foot, chapasana. And if you're working there, today do kick the foot away from your buttock. Open up your chest, your back bend. Where is your neck comfortable? Does it feel great to look up to ceiling, to look forward, or to even drop the head? For 3, for 2, both hands to the floor, 3-legged dog. Tuck your right toes under, kick the left leg high. Vinyasa of choice. Beautiful. From downward facing dog, take a long inhale. Exhale. Shift the gaze to the top of the mat and just stepping or hopping to a half lift when you're ready. Exhale, you fold. Arms reach up and wide. Inhale. Oh, lovely. Hands to heart. Exhale. So we're going to do just a little bit of flossing from here. So if you have that strap or that tie of your robe handy, I want you to grab it. It's up to you, Sharon. You can do it orientated toward the camera. If you find at any point you want to turn side on, whatever works. So she's going to take the strap, yes, in front of her, pulling it taut, and you might find that if the shoulders get tight or feel tight, you might need to slide your hands further apart. So with holding that strap in front of you nice and taut, on your inhale, sweeping the hands up and over behind you, yes, hello shoulders, and on your exhale, sweeping back and around. Very good. So just repeating that a few more times. Inhale to open. And I want you to be really aware of what is happening through your neck. Of course, we are rolling over those traps and attempting to tense up into your neck. And if you're finding that's happening a lot, then you need to take your hands wider on that strap. Beautiful. And taking one more over forward. So now what we're going to do is reaching the arms up overhead, and we're going to do sideways as well. So you might here, yes, move from side to side through the lateral body. Perfect. And then I want you to keep working with that lateral work, but now start experimenting with bending the elbows and pulling, yes, the arm, yeah, beautiful, behind your head as well. So you're working, opening up through the armpits and also through those triceps. We as yogis, because we're doing a lot of chaturangas and because we're doing bakasanas and things like that, arm balances, the triceps can get pretty tight, so they need a little space. Very good. Whenever you're ready, just making any movements that feel good before we finish. Yeah, nice. Oh, lovely. Look at that. She's opening up the back, bend a little deeper. Gorgeous. I want you, when you're ready, ditch that strap off to the side. I hope your shoulders got a bit of blood flow to them now. So at the top of your mat, hands to heart, we have a little standing sequence before we are going to come to our standing peak. Arms reaching up and wide. Inhale. Exhale, you fold. Take a half lift in breath. Vinyasa of choice. If you want to skip flows, down dog is your meeting place. Wonderful. From your downward facing dog, inhale, your right leg lifts up. Peel open your hip, bend your knee. Gorgeous. Take an inhale. Knee to your nose, exhale. Kick back in breath. Knee to your right arm. I won't hold you back if Kundinasana calls you, if the arm balance does. Otherwise, kick up and back. Beautiful. Our meeting place, fallen triangle. If you want to float that foot off the floor, you can. Yes, Sharon's going to give us the extra variation, holding onto the foot for 3, 2, and release, sweeping that right leg up and back. Crescent lunge, bring the right foot through. So today, as you rise up into that crescent lunge. It's quite important that we create, yes, as Sharon's doing here, a lovely box lunge. So instead of pushing through that back heel with the legs straight, there's a little bend in that left knee and you're scooping under through that tailbone a little bit. So we're feeling a pull in the front of your left hip. That's your psoas, and those muscles are crucial today. Bending your elbows, thumbs in behind your nape of your neck. That's it. Opening up through the chest. Yes, you could cradle your head. Lovely, Sharon, taking that little bit of a back bend. For 3, for 2. Beautiful. Back to neutral when you're ready. Arms reach up. Inhale. Warrior 2. Exhale. Right palm turns up. Inhale. Exalt your warrior. Side angle your exhale. So your choice whether you're resting forearm on the leg or sliding that arm down the inner thigh, or inner calf, I should say. The left arm might be reaching overhead. If you wish to half bind or fully bind, you can. We won't be taking bird of paradise or anything like that today. It's just all about opening. 2 more breaths. Well done. When you're ready, unravel back through your warrior 2. Inhale, exalt your warrior once more. And lizard pose. Cycle the hands down to the floor. Wiggle your right foot outside your right hand. Now, if you want something a little more yang, so I'm going to give that option first. Those of you who know you want something a little more yin, it's going to look much like we did with the kneeling variation earlier. Yes, Sharon's going to do that first. Back knee down, forearms down, and open up your hips. I'm going to ask Sharon to also do the yang variation. So I want you to tuck your left toes under, back knee off the floor if that's what you're doing. Walking your hands forward beyond your mat. Perfect, Sharon. She's plugging her fingertips down into the earth. Nice. Now, option 2, you can just keep it forward or walk your hands to the far left corner of the space. And then we're also working laterally into the side body as well. Push through the back heel. You should feel very pulled in 2 directions, through the crown of your head and back through your heel. And those of you who are chilling in the kneeling variation, please just work into those hips. They're very important today. 1 more full deep breath. Gorgeous. Walk the hands back. Plant the palms. 3-legged dog. Peel open your hip. Bend your knee. Option to flip the dog or hold. We've worked the shoulders quite a bit, so it's optional to spin the heart open for 3, 2, sweep it back. Full vinyasa, single-legged is an option, or yes, traditional. You can skip the flows at any time. From your downward facing dog, take a big inhale through your nose. Release through your mouth. 1 more inhale. Release. Good. Inhale, left leg lifts. We're going in right away. Peel open that left hip. Bend that knee. 3-legged dog. Exhale, knee to your nose. Kick back. In breath. Knee to your left tricep. Some of you might have added the arm balance. Some of you prepped as Sharon is here. Kick back. Beautiful. Knee to the opposite arm. Now option to keep that foot not touching the floor. Even hold the outside blade of the foot as Sharon is for 3. Perfect, Sharon. For 2. And 1. Right hand to the floor. Kick the left leg up. I almost took you into the compass variation because I thought, oh, maybe she could do that, but we haven't done enough hammies. Bring the foot through crescent lunge. That would not be fair on any of you for me to give you the compass variation where you sweep that leg under your ear without enough hammies. That would be cruel. So bend those elbows, thumbs to the nape of your neck. That's it. You can see Sharon's actually cradling that head. Now, if you can, Sharon, you want to get those arms more behind the ears. That's it. Good. Opening up through the front body. Feel your hip flexors. Feel your torso. Feel your armpits. And when you're ready, neutralize the spine. Arms reach up. And warrior 2. Nice, simple transition. Left palm turns up. Exalt your warrior. Beautiful side angle. So as you're working into that side angle, opening up through the chest, some of you are working that lovely extension and staying put, some of you half binding. I don't mind if you full bind, you just go where the pleasure is and open up through the body. Getting those hips a little bit of external rotation, love, for 3, for 2, Unravel back. Warrior 2 when you are ready. Exalt once more. Cycle the hands to the floor. Lizard. Hands inside your left foot. Wiggle that left foot to the edge of your mat. Some of you are placing that knee down. So yeah, I'll give you a moment there, Sharon. And you're working forearms down to the floor, opening up through the hips. Forearms is optional. If you find you're kind of halfway between, you can always place a block under your forearms. Don't worry about doing that, Sharon, but it is an option. From here, Sharon will add the yang variation. She tucks the back toes, back knee is off the floor, and she walks her hands beyond the top of her mat. And it's interesting enough on that plane, but if you want more juice, walk the hands over to the right corner of the room, and you're really feeling like you're pushing through that back heel, really reaching forward through the fingertips. It looks quite simple. It's actually quite a strong pose, this extended lizard. Very good. One more full breath. Fabulous. Walk the hands back under your shoulders. Plant the palms. Kick the left leg up and back. Three-legged dog. Peel open the hip. Option to hold or flip the dog. If you're flipping, hips high, heart open. Big breaths for 3. Are you breathing? For 2. Sweep it back. I asked you if you're breathing, vinyasa or not, because it is very important that you're breathing in those back bends today. Lovely. When you are ready, feel free to take either your child's pose, your heart-melting pose, or those of you who know dolphin, you know dolphin. So Sharon's chosen that heart-melting pose, and just let this, whatever you're choosing, be some of recovery. And I know that those of you who are feeling really comfortable in your shoulders, you can do dolphin recovery. Fantastic. So we're opening up through the chest and armpits a little more and breathing deeply. Sliding forward onto your tummy in your own time and just taking a little rest, little breather, just for a couple of breaths. So we're going to be doing a bow pose from here, and if you find that bow pose will be a little bit strong, I want you to feel free to instead work into your locust, or even just stay resting here in crocodile as Sharon's doing here, just for a nice restorative posture. If you're coming with me into that bow, that Dhanurasana, I want you to bend your knees, sweep the hands back to take hold of feet or ankles. That's it. On your inhale, feet kick away from the buttocks, sternum lifts, that's it, and your neck is nice and long. So as you kick the foot back, that's the key today. The more you kick the foot back, the more you get a leverage back bend. This is, of course, contraction back bend as well, because your back muscles are squeezing. For 3, 2, release. Release the feet, release the hands. If it feels good to just stretch the legs out and wiggle the bum, you can do that. If it feels good to instead bend the knees, windshield wiper the legs, you can do that. Whatever feels, yeah, Sharon's giving us a taste of both. Thank you, Sharon. If it feels appealing to go for a brief child's pose, you can, or even just sit back upon your heels in a Japanese seat for a meditation. Just go where feels right for you for a couple more breaths. So in a moment, we're going to be working toward our peak pose, which is a standing balance, and it's King Dancer. Now, for those of you who don't have a strap handy, or even if you just feel like all this opening up through the armpit and chest has been a little too strong, I want you to know that you can skip working with the strap and you can do your more familiar dancer. So that is always an option. When you're ready, downward facing dog, ever so briefly. If you feel as though you need a flow, you can add that in. Otherwise, you might just hold that dog for a couple more breaths. And entirely up to you if you are walking your hands to the back of your mat or walking the feet to the top, doesn't matter. Rolling up through standing in your own time. Beautiful. Noticing how your chest is feeling, your spine is feeling, the fronts of your hips, your hip flexors, and your shoulders. Hopefully there's quite a bit of blood flow in these areas, I hope. So we are going to take our strap or the tie of our robe, whatever we have. Now, if I teach this studio where we all have straps, I teach a fancy crossing over the foot and all that kind of thing. We're just going to do a not fancy variation where Sharon's just going to really be looping the strap around her ankle, so just sweeping it around and hooking on. Yeah, so you can see she's going to hook that foot exactly. So she's got that strap around the top of her foot or the top of her ankle. From here, she sweeps that hand around behind her back. Now, this is option 1. So she takes hold of the strap and her arms are behind her ears. If this is already too strong, go for traditional dancer. From here, she's going to now kick that foot back behind her and walk the hands a bit further down the strap, one hand over the other. Now, the goal is you're kicking that foot up and back. Instead of folding your chest to the floor, you're opening your heart up and forward. And as you can see here, we can see Sharon's face beautifully because she's got her arms out of her periphery. So I want you to get those arms behind your ears. Now, how are you breathing? How are you feeling? This is what I talked about at the start of class, where this is a primitive reflex that your breathing wants to hold. You probably don't feel too comfortable. This is not a day-to-day functional movement. It is countering day-to-day functional movement that you often do. So breathe a few more breaths for 3, 2. Well done. Good work, Sharon, holding that balance. And when you're ready, just release. It's lovely. She released very slowly rather than slingshotting out. I'm sure some of you had a bit of a slingshot moment. That's okay. It happens. So before we go to second side, I want you to prioritize the breathing. Because what I'm asking you to do here, already when you stand on one leg, that will inevitably make you hold your breath. That's common. When I'm asking you to back bend on one leg in dancer, again, that will make you hold your breath. But when I'm asking you to take your hands over behind your head, expose all your vital organs and stretch all your breathing organs, of course the natural impulse is to hold your breath. And I really want you on the second side to focus on that breathing. So let's work on the second side, on the left. So you hook that ankle in the strap. That's it. Yeah, that's it, Sharon. So you want that strap to be holding onto the front of the foot or front of the ankle so you can sweep the heel behind you. And when you are ready, sweeping that elbow up around behind, the other arm sweeps up as well. And it's up to you if that's enough or if you're starting to walk hand over hand down that strap as far as you can. You're kicking the foot up to the ceiling, getting those elbows behind the head. That's it. Now breathe. So the question is, you've stretched out all your vital organs. When you breathe wide into your ribs, wide into your lungs. Good work. For 3, for 2. Fantastic work. When you are ready, good work. Lovely, Sharon. She released so slowly and elegantly. She didn't slingshot out. She did fabulously. Pop that strap down off to the side. Let me know afterward how you went with that one. It's intense. Can you just close your eyes and take a breather? So that pose is probably one of the more intense postures for tapping into a really intense open body practice. Opening up through the armpits, the chest, the hip flexors, all the muscles that relate to our fight or flight reflex, all the muscles that we usually tighten sitting on our butts, watching Netflix or working on our computers, sitting in our cars, all those things. So it's no surprise that it might have been a challenge. Let's take a nice slow flow to the floor. So arms reach up. Exhale, you fold, and just take a soft hold in this fold, knees soft, and just notice how your spine is responding after those deep back bends. If it feels nice to wrap your hands around behind your head again and work your head in that other direction, working a bit of space through the upper vertebrae, you can. And whether you're at the front or back of your mat, how come to down dog, come to that downward facing dog. No rush. We're going to work to our pigeon pose. Inhale, your right leg lifts. Bring your right knee toward your right wrist. Settle that shin down. It's all downhill from here. Now, of course, if you want to stay upright and do any back bending, that's very much your option. If you choose to just focus on stretching, release, yeah, Sharon, that's what I would do. We've done a lot of back bending. If we were teaching an hour and a quarter or an hour and a half, we might be working into king pigeon, where you do the same thing with hooking the strap on the foot, taking a deep back bend there, mirroring what you did in standing. But today, we've got this hour, and we're just going to now start to come down and let go. So relax the shoulders, whatever that means for you. Breathe into your back. I want you in your own time to walk your hands in toward you. Take your time. If you've got a block underneath your buttock, take it out. Lower your right buttock to the floor. Seated twist is where we're headed. So that left foot sweeps around over the thigh. So you can see Sharon's comfortable here with keeping that leg bent underneath her, that right leg. If you find that your sit bones can't firmly plant onto the floor, feel free to stretch that right leg out straight. Your right arm reaches up to the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, you twist. We haven't done much twisting today, so it should be nice to work the spine in a different direction. Every inhale, you grow taller. Every exhale, you twist deeper. And yes, Sharon's going to give us some variations. Left hand might wrap around the back for the half bind. If you're comfortable in a full bind, you're more than welcome to work there, Sharon. No need to demonstrate. But if you are wanting to hold on to the hands underneath the thigh, that is an option for your full bind. One more full breath. When you're ready, twisting the other way. Counter twist, however you like to counter. Very good. Back through center. Hands behind your buttocks. Lean back, lengthen the leg out. So open up, that's it. And we're going to, from here, beautiful, open up through that chest. Bend your knees, cross your ankles. If you can, roll over your shins. Down dog. Last down dog. Of course, if you want to add a last vinyasa, that's your option. Pigeon pose, left side is the destination. You might stay upright, or you might just forward fold. I really want you to just be guided by your instincts in this practice, and after a lot of back bending, you might find that you're ready to forward fold. Really breathe into your back. Relax the neck and shoulders. They've done quite a bit of work today. One more full deep breath. Seated twist in your own time. You walk the hands in toward you, lower the left buttock, sweep the right leg around. Get the sit bones connecting to the earth. The right arm will left arm will reach up, and exhale, you twist. Beautiful. Any shape you wish with your twist, whether you're just opening up through spine, whether you're half binding, full binding, doesn't matter. One more full deep breath. Long exhale. And on your inhale, back through center, counter twist on the exhale to the other side. This time back through center. Unravel the legs. We've done a lot of back bending. I want you to take your time to just, in fact, let's just come onto our back, Sharon. No need to work core, just slowly lay onto your back. That'll do. Bend your knees in towards your chest and hug your legs in. If a happy baby feels appealing, that's an option. You might just massage the back onto the floor. You can do that through movement. Doesn't matter if you're holding feet or just holding shins, whatever works. When you're ready, I want you to stretch those legs back out. Shavasana is your destination. So it's up to you where the hands are placed, whether they're by your side or on your body. Allowing your feet to just flop and relax. And before we settle into this lovely rest, just a few cleansing breaths. Inhale through the nose, release through the mouth. And there's no pushing, it's just rolling out of your body. Inhale, let go. Inhale, let go. And then just let your body soften into the earth. Notice if the mind started to wander off or get a little chatty. I want you to come back to your breath and focus more on your exhale. Letting the thought go with the breath. I think it's very easy with our yoga practice, and I know I did this in the first 5 years, to look at certain practices or certain poses and think, oh, it's just my body. That my body is tight, or that my body lacks this ingredient to get this. And I think that what we forget is that apart from our lifestyle and the way we live, so of course if you do CrossFit, you're going to be a bit tighter than a person who does nothing other than yoga and dancing. That's natural, and that's a good thing. It's good that you're tighter. Those muscles are strong and engaged. But also what we forget is that some ingredients in a yoga practice are just primitive. That it's natural that back bends at the start of a yoga practice, and for me it was at least 5 years, probably more, that I did find them really confronting, really challenging. Hard to breathe. And this is a primitive response. But what happens is with time, breathing becomes advanced, and you are able to manage that fear, that discomfort with breath. And this is why what you do on your yoga mat does influence when you leave the yoga mat. Because that fear response might come in, or anxiety might creep in, and your body goes, oh, I know what to do. I know how to breathe. It's okay. I know what to do when your hip flexors tighten or when your diaphragm tightens. I know what to do. And that's the subconscious beauty of the yoga. I want you in your own time to maybe bring a little movement into your fingers, your toes. If it feels good to stretch the arms overhead, feel free to do so. If you want to stay a little longer in your Shavasana, please do. Don't feel like you have to come with us. You might roll over onto your right hand side. And in your own time, press up into a seated position. I want you in your own time to bring your hands to heart center. Close your eyes. Take an inhale. Long exhale. Twice more, inhale. Exhale. Once more. Release. Flutter open the eyes in your own time.